Hi, Hanif. What I'd like you to talk about is your memories as a child. Were you a child in 72? Is your time in Africa and Uganda under Ide Amin? And I just want you to talk about, first of all, your life there as what you remember with your family and how you lived and what you can remember and what the feeling was like at the time where Idi Amin was in full thrall of his dictatorship. So, if you want to start by just talk about how old you were, what you were doing, what your dad did, and then we'll build a picture from there about how it escalated and how you had to leave the country.
Okay, basically I was born there. My dad was a farmer, and we had tea plantations, sugarcane plantations, and coffee plantations. And my uncles had other businesses there as well, so we were quite well off. And we had servants where we had, you know, mum didn't have to do nothing. It's just tell the guys to, or the women to do this, and that, whatever.
And your bloodline was Indian?
My bloodline is Indian.
Right. And your parents were first generation to Uganda, or?
No, forefathers.
Right.
They were brought from India to build the railways. Yeah, so that's...
So they were working on the railways, yeah.
And that's where we generated from.
Yeah.
But we are Indian,
yeah,
basically. But no, life was good because, I mean, I was only... When I came to England, I was 16. So 16 over there is you're still kids. Here it's different.
Yeah.
So that's what we, and then under, when I was 16, we had a coup in Kampala, Uganda, because we could hear firing and all that. My dad was with me, but my mom and my sister were here in England just for a holiday. And 2-3 days after the coup, it was like my dad said, look, they've given us 72 hours to get out of the country.
Could you see the coup happening? Was there a build-up to it?
I could see, all these soldiers shooting and all that kind of stuff, because, I mean, in the town centre you can hear everything.
Yeah.
Because the city is just, it's like compact, so you got echoey. And they were shooting everywhere, all over Uganda.
And did you lose friends?
I have lost friends. I've lost friends, but I basically to think about them, it's not right. I mean, when the coup happened and we had 72 hours to leave, but also what we had to do is to become citizens of Uganda. Right. Which we were, but we had to have a special ID card. And my dad used to drop me off. He says, "Look, he says you stand here, so we don't lose the position." And because he had to go and sort things out and whatever. So basically, it was a 3-mile queue, and this is every day. Mm. And if you get to the door after 3 or 4 or 5 hours, then they won't let you in. So you have to come back again. So people were just queuing all night. But yeah, that was horrendous because, I mean, to be my age, there was a woman. There was 3 lanes that they put, no, 4 lanes of people, and these soldiers came and said, "No, you have 2. So everybody got pushed in and out and whatever. And this woman was arguing with one of the soldiers. Just shot her ear.
Killed her?
Didn't kill her, but just shot her ear. And you think, God, come on. And I was standing right behind it. I had blood all over me. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, no.
When your forefathers came to build the railways, were they given citizenship of Uganda?
Yeah.
So what did Idi Amin ask for, which was different to what you already had?
Well, my dad was British protected.
Right.
So we were all protected under the British because that's how it done, because when they brought the Jamaicans here and all that to rebuild the country, it was exactly like that. But we are British protected. But we're now British citizens because we're here. But what Amin was saying is that you have to have a Ugandan ID card. And that's where everything started.
And did you, before the coup, experience hostility?
Oh, absolutely. There were tanks and soldiers everywhere.
But as a general, not when the coup was happening, but just in your life, was there a separation in Uganda?
No, not really.
So it was a very good integration.
I mean, we had we had loads of friends, everything. We had big families there.
Yeah.
Obviously now they're gone because it's quite a few years now, long time now. But yeah, that was the issues anyway.
Yeah.
But we were all very happy there. But when this coup happened, when Amin overthrew Milton Obote, then it was really horrendous. And when we left in 1972, obviously I had to go on my own to come to England. My mom and my sister were here, so they were stuck. And my dad followed me. And obviously my dad and my 4 uncles had a lot of problems because they stayed behind, trying to see what they can do. They had problems like, the soldiers were coming and knocking on the doors. But all my dad's brothers were all together. And obviously we weren't there, so we didn't know. But the story that I know on that is that, they threatened all my uncles and my dad that they would put him in jail. And the jail that they would put in is very bad.
What were they trying to do? Why did they stay behind? To protect their businesses, or?
Well, they were trying to protect all the businesses and whatever, and find if they could stay. But there was a lot of things that went on, but I didn't know what, I mean, obviously, as I said, 16 years old, I mean, I'm a kid over there, I'm not a kid here, but but it's very difficult for what I've gone through, and my father and all that. And then when we came here, we lost a lot of money. Well, not money, just we lost the whole life.
You were very fortunate that you had the British connection as well. What do you think would happen to if you didn't have that?
Well, I can't answer that, but I don't know.
Do you have some sympathy and understanding to some of the current immigration problems we're seeing at the minute for people coming out of their countries?
Well, I have, but I think that this government's not fair. Okay, they call people in to do whatever, and they should support them instead of deporting them.
Yeah.
And I think that's out of order.
Yeah.
And if you invite somebody here, you can't just go and throw them out. And I'm not too happy with the government anyway, because of all the issues that they have produced now, and all the austerities and all the cuts and all that. It's not really fair on the people. I've seen a lot of people just very, very.
I think it's a sheer volume, isn't it, of people, and how you integrate the sheer volume, and how you work out who's meant to be there or who's not meant to be in that procession of immigrants. Well, I don't like to say people misplaced in that, from the what are coming through Europe and stuff. So it's a very complicated and sad thing to witness and see what's going on. In terms of mental,
when the coup happened and all that, we saw a lot of bodies on the streets just lying, and it wasn't very nice for me. But my dad never took me around to because we couldn't go out.
What has your dad said about that period when you've spoken to him?
He wasn't very happy when they all came here, when they got here. We'd only got £50 to come
You got £50
with
off the
that's-
government.
Yeah. Well, no, we were allowed to take £50,
Really?
and obviously we had quite a lot. But, we were rich, but it wasn't that easy. But when we came here, my dad was really upset and all that, and he just being strong like me, he just turned around and said, "Well, we have to make a new life here," and that's what we did.
Were you affected by the change?
I was, yeah.
In what way?
Just depressed, no friends. Some of the friends I had in school in Africa, they were in the same school that I went to in London. So obviously that was quite good. But then I had them. But we all were really, devastated because we were kids.
And how did you adapt to?
Well, we just go on with it, really.
Yeah.
It just came, we just go through year by year, and it was, it seemed okay, 1972 was good years here.
How was integrating with the British English?
No problem.
Yeah, you
No,
had no
no,
problem.
no problem. We had friends then. My mom had friends, my dad had friends, and they used to come for dinner at home because my mom was cooking a curry or whatever, and they all wanted to come. So we had a lot of people that came in and out, and it doesn't matter who they were, but they were all welcome.
Have you ever thought of going back to Uganda?
I have, but it's not point. We've lost all the properties there anyway because they've been taken over or whatever. We were told about 10, maybe 15 years ago that we can reapproach and get our properties back. But the farm, because it's a tea plantation, there's a lot of snakes there. And the house, because my uncle had gone there to see. And the house that my dad built in the farm, they have this wire meshing. We don't have doors, windows, or anything like that. So because it's really falls is there, and the thing is, it wasn't easy,
Yeah. And then, were there many people who stayed in Uganda?
Some of them were left, but they had to leave because they got thrown out.
Was everybody kicked out?
Yeah, because my uncle, he was very adamant to try and keep his properties and all his brothers and my dad and all that, his properties, so he could be there. But he had a lot of problems. And then in the end, he just gave up and he came here because it just sort of said, go.
And outside your family, you don't know anybody who actually stayed?
Oh no, a lot of people. But now a lot of people have gone back.
They have they?
And they've got their properties back. They're doing okay. But it's just that, to go to the farm and find a lot of cobras, and a lot of other snakes, because it's very, very dangerous in a tea plantation.
Yeah.
And I used to run around in the plantation through the bushes and all that. So, but as I was saying, that we had this house that Dad built, and it was a luxury place, but not like what you think here, but it was nice over there. And he had generators, so we had lights and everything. So when my uncle went to Uganda, and he went to the farm just to see, because he used to work with my dad. And it was like, when you saw the house, it was full of snakes. And he said, we can't even cut the grass there, because you got spitting cobras and you got this and that, whatever. So they can't cut the grass.
Is it just sitting there rotting now?
Well, no, what it is from the factory to the house is only about a minute.
What was the factory?
Tea.
Oh, right, so it was a tea plantation.
Yeah, and then down about 4-minute walk was down the hill, and it was the sugarcane plantation.
Right.
So that was a sugarcane factory.
And is that where your dad made the money with tea?
Yes.
Right, okay. And what was it, your uncle had the sugarcane, or was that, am I right in thinking that? No.
No, my dad sort of said to him, he said, because he's younger, my uncle,
Yeah.
and he's the youngest, and he's the only one left in the family, and he lives in Vancouver. in Canada. But they were working together, so Dad could have more time with us and all that. So obviously, you know, he used to be at the farm, and he used to just check everything. I mean, you know, it was both. And then the coffee plantation was about 10-minute walk. But we had jeeps and all that, so
Yeah. I think when you're looking back at that time, do you often look back and think, what was Ide Amin like? Do you often think and reflect back at
it was
what was going on there?
he was a nasty person. Apparently, when we were here, we heard. I don't know if it was in the papers or news, or my dad said to me, he said, you know what, they've raided his house, because at that time they wanted to get him out, or you know, when he fled to Saudi, and before that they raided all the house, his places and all that, and he had heads of his generals or commanders or something in the freezer, and you would think, you know, come on.
There was that film, The Last King of Scotland.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I did.
And?
I mean, it's the same thing. But King of Scotland didn't. It wasn't as what we saw.
So are you saying the film was misrepresented? Was it?
A little bit.
Yeah. In what way?
But well, I mean, obviously they didn't show the gory bits,
Yeah.
which obviously I think, you know, is certified and all that. But if they showed the gory bits, or they made the gory bits,
do you think they were glorifying that man?
I don't know if they're glorifying him. It was just that, you know, why Ide Amin pronounce himself as King of Scotland? For what? For where?
Yeah, but I think in terms of what happened to your family and lots of other Indian families, when you get something like The Last King of Scotland, are you portraying the lives of everybody who was affected by that, or are you glorifying the guy who destroyed thousands of lives?
No, I am saying that all the people who've been thrown out and killed and whatever is not right.
Yeah.
And I think Ide Amin was quite bad.
Why do you think it happened?
Well, because I mean, Ide Amin was one of the top generals for Milton Obote, and he thought, oh, he can take over. And you know, when Milton Obote went, I think he was away somewhere for a meeting or somewhere, whatever, and then overnight this thing happened. Yeah, so Milton Obote couldn't come back.
Culturally and politically, why did it happen? Why do you think? Or why did?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that, because I don't know.
Yeah.
But
have you never thought of going back and thinking, well, what the hell happened there?
Yeah, but you know, I mean, going back is after 20, 30 years.
No, I mean mentally, I mean in academically, and maybe, you know, looking up and thinking, what the heck happened to my family at that period? I want some answers. Why were we kicked out of Uganda? Have you thought, well,
we never did.
Have you tried to find some answers in what made that happen?
And my dad and my uncles, you know, they tried to find out why and whatever, but they also, Ide Amin also threw the Jews out. They threw all the Indians out. There were a few, I think there was few British there.
Did you think, is it, and I'm not right, I mean, I'm sort of expressing my opinion, but I'm not talking from somebody who sat here and researched it. And is it like ethnic cleansing? Is it not ethnic cleansing? Is it a way of him saying, we just want Ugandans in this country and that's it? Or
true, but you know, he wanted a country where everybody was or supposed to be black.
Right, that's, yeah.
And obviously we built the country there, you know, we put buildings up and everything, but he was a nasty guy, and obviously there's no way that he was even, or the film King of Scotland should have been made anyway. But what they should have done is, if they made a film, then they should have degraded him.
Yeah. And how do you think Uganda coped and everybody was
Well, they
kicked
didn't. We were away. I mean, we used to spend, I think it was about 10 cents or 20 cents for a loaf of bread. And when we were here, we heard that it was 198 shillings, which is quite a lot.
How did Uganda, the country, cope with losing most of its population?
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know. But now it's rebuilding itself, and some of us, some of my people have gone back and acquired their properties and all that.
Yeah.
So.
So you were 16, your family was kicked out of Uganda, your parents, your mum and your sister were in England on holiday, and you joined them. And when did your father join you?
He joined me, I came here in October 72, so it would be 73.
And what did your dad do then?
He couldn't do nothing. He just, obviously, you say to him, what happened, Dad?
Yeah.
And you think, obviously you were so down.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy thing to recope or rebuild yourself. I mean, obviously my dad. I was only a kid. And all the people who came here, they started doing things here and working and doing this and doing that. And they got their own businesses started up.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yeah. What did your dad do?
My dad was working. And my mom was working.
Yeah. What were they doing particularly? Anything?
They were working for Wolf Electric Tools. I don't think it exists anymore.
Right. Where was that?
In Wembley.
In Wembley, right? Okay. And then, how did you come here? How did you end up in the northeast?
Northeast. I've been in England from 1972. I've been traveling. And I've done a lot of things. I've been to Canada, I've been to Central Asia, and I got married in 2007. And then I stayed with her for, I think we were there for 3 or 4 years, and then there was a coup there.
Where was that?
In Kyrgyzstan.
So you've been part of 2 coups?
Yes.
Wow.
But my wife, I was here doing my flat up, and she was stuck there. She was stuck in the flat for about three weeks, and she couldn't go out.
So when was the coup in Tajikistan?
Kyrgyzstan.
And when was that coup?
2010.
Wow. So how's that affected you?
Well, I mean, obviously it's hit me quite hard. But then I have to rebuild myself here because I was here. We just wanted to buy this place and then rent it out, and I would have gone back, but it didn't work out.
Is she still your wife?
Yeah, she's still my wife.
And she's still there now?
Yeah, she's there now.
And when was the last time you saw her?
2 years ago. No. Yeah, 2 years
Are
ago.
you in contact with each other?
I am, yeah.
Does that not make you sad?
Well, it does, but...
And you'll never maybe go back there?
If I go back there because of my health issues and my prescriptions and all that, I can buy them over the counter there, but they don't seem to be the right stuff. So obviously, if I had a problem, then there's no way that I would think that they would look after me there. And the hospitals are really, very old-fashioned. So no, I wouldn't.
And what about her coming here?
Well, she said she wants to, but then she's got her own property there, and she's, her mom left her a property, so she's just sorting things out there, and she needs to come here because she's got other issues to sort out here. If she doesn't want to come, then it's fine. I've just said.
Would you be happy?
Well, I'm happy on my own. I don't have anybody to sort of like say this and that. And I don't have that problem because I'm under so much stress and anxiety right now. I don't need anyone to sort of like.
Yeah, it's interesting how your life has taken on and been part of 2 major coups in 2 different countries, and that's quite an achievement in a sense. It's quite
Well, it's not. It's not good, you know. It's just the way it is, and when it happened and all that. And I think when it happened, it was the wrong time.
What happened?
Well, I mean, all these coups, it happened, but it was at the wrong time for me,
Yeah,
where I was trying to set myself up.
yeah,
And obviously, when I came from Uganda, it's obviously a new start. But I lived in England anyway, so I ended up in Newcastle because I bought the property.
What happened? What happened to the coup? What happened to that coup? What kicked?
Well, the
off?
president in Kyrgyzstan, the president, they were trying to remove him. There was a lot of corruption. So obviously, they turn around and say, you know, don't come back.
Has it settled down there now?
Oh yeah,
Is
yeah,
it okay?
yeah. But it's still under a new presidency, you know, president and all that, and Uzbekistan is the same under a new president, so it's getting there. And if you know about the Silk Road, it goes through all those Tajikistan or Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, you know, Kazakhstan. It's all the Silk Road. And what they're trying to do now is build that place so people can go and visit
Yeah,
from, you know, from Central Asia to China.
yeah, interesting. Well, Hanif, thank you. That is really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.